Inflation, a term we hear almost every day, but what does it truly mean for Pakistan's economy? Today, we dive into the heart of this economic puzzle, exploring whether inflation in Pakistan is a monetary or a fiscal phenomenon. Inflation has always been a pressing concern for policymakers worldwide. Post-COVID disruptions, supply chain issues, and the Russia-Ukraine war have pushed economies, including Pakistan, into challenging times. While monetary policy is traditionally seen as the primary tool to control inflation, recent experiences have highlighted its limitation and underscored the need for a broader approach. Globally, countries like China and India have managed inflation more effectively by aligning fiscal and monetary policies. India's approach, for example, included direct food distribution and targeted fiscal reforms, while China's zero-COVID policy helped control inflation by managing demand and avoiding large-scale economic stimuli. For countries like Pakistan, which have high fiscal deficit and substantial debt liabilities, the fiscal theory of price level argues that inflation is as much a fiscal issue as it is a monetary one. A coordinated approach combining fiscal and monetary policies become crucial to addressing this challenge effectively. In Pakistan, the state bank's primary objective, as per the State Bank of Pakistan Act of 1956, includes maintaining price stability, stabilizing the financial system, and supporting government economic policies. However, achieving these goals requires not only effective policy tools but also transparency and autonomy in decision-making. Experts suggest several measures to enhance these efforts. These include publishing the minutes of monetary policy committees to improve transparency, reforming the taxation system, and restructuring state-owned enterprises to reduce fiscal pressure, and developing infrastructure and human capital to foster a more investment-friendly environment. Examining Pakistan's inflation history reveals significant insights. The nation has experienced 4 major inflationary episodes since 1960, driven by factors such as political instability, global commodity price fluctuations, and natural disasters like flood. Periods like financial year 73-78, 89-98, financial year 2005-15, and financial year 2020-2024 witnessed inflation consistently exceeding 7%. During financial year 2020-2024, a combination of global and domestic factors, including exchange rate depreciation and fiscal deficit, played a major role in fueling inflation. Despite maintaining high policy rates, inflation often surpassed targets. For instance, in 2024, inflation declined to 11.8%. Primarily due to high base year effect. However, core inflation, particularly in urban and rural sectors, continued to strain consumers, underscoring the persistent challenges of addressing inflationary pressures. On the fiscal side, Pakistan's government has implemented consolidation measures aimed at reducing deficit. Tax revenue growth in financial year 2020-21 helped lower the fiscal deficit from 7.1% to 6.1%. However, rising debt servicing costs continues to challenge fiscal sustainability. Debt servicing now consumes 74% of FBR revenues, leaving limited room for development spending. Efforts to stabilize the economy have included the IMF Standby Agreement, which focuses on structural reforms such as energy pricing and state-owned enterprises governance. Yet these measures must contend with significant fiscal pressures such as the high reliance on domestic financing and insufficient foreign investment inflows. Post-COVID inflation has been a shared global challenge. While some countries tackle it with fiscal prudence, others struggled. Sri Lanka's heavy reliance on imports and debt led to severe economic crisis, in stark contrast to India, which maintained fiscal discipline and ensured targeted interventions to protect vulnerable populations. Pakistan's monetary policy, meanwhile, has focused on tightening measures, with the policy rate even remaining at 22% for 2 consecutive years. While this approach reduced inflation expectations, it also negatively impacted investment and economic growth, highlighting the need for a more balanced strategy. To address these challenges, experts suggest that Pakistan should develop a personal consumption expenditure price index to better reflect consumer behavior and regularly update the CPI basket to align with changing expenditure patterns. Most importantly, a coordinated mix of fiscal and monetary policies is essential, with fiscal reforms taking the lead to address structural issues. Inflation in Pakistan cannot be resolved through monetary policy alone. A coordinated approach where fiscal policy plays a leading role and monetary measures provide support is essential for sustainable economic growth. By fostering transparency, implementing targeted reforms, and aligning policies with consumer and business expectations, Pakistan can build a more stable economic future.